Councillor Wong Tam has questions.
Thank you very much. There's been a number of applicants, deputants who've stepped forward who've said that they haven't had adequate chance to review the application or review the staff report. Can you tell me when this tall buildings study began? When did we start this work?
Through you, Mr. Chair. I believe that we started this process in 2007.
2007. Does it generally take 5 years for a report to come forward?
Sometimes it takes longer.
5 years.
But there were a series of steps that accompanied this particular report. It started out with a consultant study, which took some time to come to fruition. There were some interruptions along the way, but we achieved that, and then we moved on to have consultation. We've had consultation in various forms, most recently last year, and was always our intention to then move forward with a report that reflected the consultant study, but also offered our own recommendations using that report, using the study as the basis for our recommendations and the consultation in bringing this forward.
How would you respond to some deputants who've claimed that by implementing these performance guidelines and standards with respect to new build form, that effectively the City of Toronto is sterilizing certain sites? Is it because they're just not qualified as tall building sites, or are we trying to do something bad to the industry here?
Certainly, it's not anyone's intention to sterilize development, and that hasn't been the case to date, and doubtful that it will be. Simply, what we're trying to do is equal the playing field in terms of allowing everyone to have better access to the development potential that their particular site may offer. And in so doing, one has to consider the impact of a given development on its adjacencies. You have to take into account the context surrounding any particular site, and also its impact on the public realm.
It almost sounds like from certain deputants that if they don't get to build a tall building on through their particular property, that they don't get to build anything. Is this the fact that we won't allow them to build low-rise or mid-rise? Is it tall building or go home?
No, there are other options to consider, depending on what the situation might be. Perhaps it might be incumbent on the particular developer to consider a larger site through amalgamation with adjacent sites. Perhaps not. If the answer to that is no, and certain of the performance standards that we would view to be key to this, as in separation distances between tall building development on the adjacent sites, then there still is an opportunity to build. Some direction to that effect is given in our report.
Thank you. And just two final questions. Catherine Naismith and her group was here again deputing regarding the starting point, the vantage point of the heritage viewshed of the Ontario Legislative Assembly. And this is an issue that's been bounced around several times through Community Council and through City Council and even to the OMB. I noticed that although there is some amendments to the staff to the consultant's report, the one thing that was not changed was the starting vantage point on the heritage viewshed of the Ontario Legislative Assembly. Why did you not move it down to Queen Street as requested from this group? Why did you keep it at College?
The report makes mention of several things. One is that we're reporting separately on that particular matter. The other thing is that we're currently undertaking a heritage study in conjunction with the 5-year official plan review. Thirdly, we've indicated that this to a certain sense is a fluid guideline document, in the sense that if there's an opportunity to include additional views or to change the point at which the view corridor is taken from, then that can be considered in the context of future adjustments or amendments to the guidelines.
Okay. And this is my final question. The 2006 provincial policy statement regarding provincial policy regarding growth plan for Greater Golden Horseshoe talks about trying to concentrate the new population intensification down in downtown corridors. Knowing that we've had this much new development, which is good because it actually brings new people, it stops urban sprawl, it creates a different type of dense high urbanism, which I actually quite like. What measures have been taken to ensure that community amenities, a social planning lens has been overlaid on top of all of this, so that we're not just building these vertical towers without providing the social infrastructure for communities, such as transit expansion, including the downtown subway platform revitalization or modernization. How do we bring about an integrated approach to urban planning, social planning, economic development? Has that ever been considered all together as a package?
With respect, it's a bit of an essay question, and I'll try not to give an essay answer, but we certainly look at measures that we apply on a site-by-site basis. When we look at the review of an application, we certainly are measuring things like traffic and water and sewage and other issues, so that we cover ourselves off there. And if we get into issues with capacities, those resolutions are sought through those particular processes. If we can't get resolutions, we often use things like a holding bylaw, for example. On a neighborhood scale level, be it Alexander Park or Regent Park or the waterfront in some of the secondary planning areas, we look at these infrastructure and service capacity and social service, community service issues on that neighborhood scale. So, for example, when Regent was approved, there was a community service strategy that went with it, and so on and so forth. So we take that kind of neighborhood approach. I grant you that on an infill basis, where it's more incremental, it is a little more difficult. It's quite unlike greenfield development, where you can plan way out in advance when you're rolling out subdivisions, for example. So I'm not going to say that we have every measure and every answer to the question. We do make effort to identify those impacts, and through a high-level process, be it the official plan itself, the 5-year reviews that are undertaken, and our 10-year capital planning exercises, our toolkit that includes DCs and parks levies, the recent review of parks levies even in the last few years, to reset them so that they are responding to the level of development and the level of deficiency that's in a certain area. Those things get done over time, but it is a complex web, if you will, of both managing growth and making sure that you've got the right kind of infrastructure to support it.
Thank you.